baby. You got your toy? You got your toy, mommies? Such a good girl. Let me see. Oh, you got your duckies. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Thanks for bringing it. You make it squeaky? Here. Oh, good girl. Let's see. Hey, everybody. Sorry, I'm on late, hence late night tales. So hope everybody's doing okay. Can you hear me? All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Is my volume working? Oh, okay. Sounds good. Oh, Ellie's about to get lit. So sipping on some coffee. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing all right. I got my little munchkin here, psychic puppy, helping. So I did this grand tableau on the 1st, as you can see there. I had done I did Pam Bondi's last month on the 27th. She's about to get in serious trouble. There's like a tower, letter, stars, clover, knights to mountain and mice. It's like there's an official review or official paperwork being sent, and it has to do with her ethics because it's lilies and tower. Well, the news just came out right here, lilies and then tower, and then this line down here, that she is the bar association in Florida is going to be looking at her because of all these insane complaints that she's been getting from constitutional lawyers and all this other stuff. So I need to. Oh, thanks. What is it? Is it LA 101366? I'm not sure. Sorry. But I have to do Pam Bondi's, and I also did Ron and Casey DeSantis, those two criminals down in Florida. I did those on the same day. So I need to put this one up and I need to put this one up because I have the charts. I did them. I just never got a chance to go live. I was going to go live Thursday night and Jenny was supposed to help me, but I wasn't feeling well. So I just ended up sleeping. And then Friday after work, I slept. And then today I've mostly been sleeping. So, yeah. So this is Felon 47's Grand Tableau. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to go through. So in this tableau, Fox is in its own house. Lilies or Bouquet and Lilies are in their own houses. I didn't look to see if anything was mirroring, but I guess we'll find them as we go along. But those are some key things to note. Fox in its own house, fraud, manipulation, cunning, deceit, resourcefulness, sneakiness, fraud. That's a big, huge one. These two are talking. This one is about gifts, joy, satisfaction, beauty, awards, offers. This one is more like patience, ethics, maturity. It's more like the temperance card if you want to think of it in terms of like tarot. But it lands below his feet. So it's dishonorable, unethical, dishonorable. But the way that this is looking is that he is already in meetings and negotiations on how they're going to try to hack the next upcoming midterm elections, and they're already coming up with a scheme because there's a meeting right there. So we'll touch base on that when we get into it. And the corners are, there's really important news coming in about a person that he is not allied with at all. This person is more closely allied to this woman here who was very successful, a shining star. Okay, put two and two together. This person is very ill, sits on the house of coffin, and it's like there's going to be the arrival of documentation of this right here, certificate, death, health, news being delivered. Okay. So we all know that Biden is really, really ill with cancer, prostate cancer. I think they said stage 4, but Trump decided to make a whole new thing, stage 9, I guess now. So I would not be surprised if this happens this year, because it's hitting it's the corners, important news, someone that is trustworthy, that is very ill, the arrival of notification of the report, the results, certificate, death, health, news. It's delivering all this. Okay. I was talking to Jen about it because I did it, I think on a Sunday night, and we were talking about it. I said I wouldn't be surprised because the lily sits below him. If when this happens, that he will dishonor him, because the lilies also falls below his feet, and it falls below her feet. See what I'm saying? You want the lilies above you. It doesn't matter how far away, you just want it above you. He's going to dishonor this person and this person here. And I was also telling Jen that there is the possibility of not just one, but 2 certificates. And the reason I say that is because the letter knights up here to the crossroads, which is doubles and multiples, and then power doubles. So this tells me 2 here. So well, we all know Joe's ill, stage 4. But there, if I'm interpreting this correctly, there could be another one. It's looking like 2 down this way. Executive, okay, decisions in the house, and then a passing. The house sits back on dog. So this is June. Here's September. And it's like 2 things were coming up in November. Because this house is sitting on house dog. So there's the executive here, an executive choice, an executive decision. Okay, this person is no longer in power. That was in the house, and there's a death and an ending here. Okay, this is in the column of November. Another way to interpret that as well is that he loses power in the house. He's gone by perhaps before November, because this is power. There's a choice and a decision, but it sits on the house of scythe, meaning it's cut off. The bear here, knights here to the scythe. Power is cut off. Significant power in the executive struggles. It's punished. And then this cross is also sitting in the house of house. So it could be saying that his executive power, the executive branch here, executive, has difficulties doing stuff. The courts are hindering here and causing trouble, even though he continues to abuse power. But it's like he gets kicked out right here because the scythe is pointing at him. See that? So it's him in danger. But we'll start here where he's at, because this is his present column for June. So we have the clover in the house of tree, the man in the house of child, mice in the house of mountain, the sun in the house of woman, the storks in the house of anchor. Okay, so what this is telling me, the luck, the risk, the opportunity that he took, he's shitting his pants. He is shitting his pants, because this right here, man steals. Man stole something. He stole something. Success here was changed. Okay. The sun is sitting on the house of woman. We all know the investigations that are currently going on in New York right now. Other states will follow. This would be states here. Okay. This is the elections here. And the confusion. See, there's the man, there's the fraud, big trouble and confusion. And then her. She is not being impacted by the clouds. She sits to the right of it. This is being impacted by the clouds. Everything to the left and everything above that's coming down. So clover to here. That's bad. That's bad news. Let me see what else. Lilies to clouds, sorrow, bad news. And then all of these negative cards, the birds close to him becomes a negative card. Okay. The fox is negative. This is negative. This is negative. That's negative. That's negative. He has a very tiny small window. With the clover is like a stroke of luck, but it's very fleeting. Okay. And the child is small. Do you see what I'm saying? So and they sit above him. So he's boxed in with negative cards, with the exception of the heart. But this right here, with the tree right there, the tree does not sit close to him. Okay, but we've seen it in previous tableaus where the tree is very, very close. This right here, reading it simply, suffering, an attack of the heart, news of a blockage. This way. Suffering from surgery or a rupture to the heart right here. See, because it's touching this. The tree and riders would be like in the legs. So perhaps there's like a blood clot or something that dislodges. So the tree is his health, even though it's far, it's sitting close enough to this column. So anything that touches, this would be the heart, this would be the legs, sexual organs, head. Okay. But it's looking like the scythe is pointing at him and it's pointing here. Okay. The situation right now that he's involved with, he sits on the house of child. The child is above him. He is in a position right now where he is in charge of the little guy. Little guy, I mean, eyeliner, couch fucker. Okay. Hold on. What you doing? You want to go to the bed? Want to take your baby to the bed? No, you're just going to sit here and help mommy? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Your friends say hi. I know. All your friends are saying hi. I can't put you on the camera, baby. Because the camera's up here and you're down there. You want me to show your friend your toy? Look, okay. She wants you guys to see her toy. Okay. Now your friends are saying hi. Okay, good girl. Good girl. The woman would be, in this instance, traditionally it's supposed to be the wife. I'm gonna interpret it as Kamala Harris because she's got a very close friend that's very, very ill right above her. Okay, so as of right now, he's got a small window of opportunity. He's shitting his pants, and there's illumination energy about something that was changed and how they achieved it. And we were just talking about how we know that the court in New York said, go ahead, because the anomalies are too great. So if I'm interpreting this correctly, he's aware of that and he's shitting his pants. But it appears to be that they are currently scheming, okay, to figure out how to do it again for the midterms, because this is the election over here. So he has to go this way. This column right here is for November. So this is June, July, August, September, October, November. We talked about that already. Possibly 2 executives that get ill and pass, and also the losing of the power in the house and losing power and being removed from government here, because the bear knights this way, the house knights this way to the scythe, which is cutting something off, and the scythe is pointing at him. Okay. He has the mice very, very close by. So he is, and from where he's sitting in this position in the tableau, since he's higher up, he's fairly confident that they can pull this entire scheme and get away with it again, that the results will stick. Okay. So again, with the corners, the news of a person that is ill, but also the access that a friend gave, the access that a friend have to achieve the results and bring them the rewards that they wanted here. So they're going to try to do the same playbook, and they're already preparing and meeting about it here with the birds. Okay. This is in the house of crossroads, which is the election. Okay. The crossroads is over here in the house of scythe. Okay. So when we go back over here, let's examine the birds first. So the meetings are about him and the fraud and all the fuckery that goes along with it. Okay. Yes, the November election, the one coming up, because he goes this way. So the November elections this year. Okay. Okay, so there's discussions about that and how he stole something successfully. If this is thievery, it gets exposed here and here. Okay. It's hidden this way because it's obscured, but it comes out this way with the ship. It's a card of action, a card of movement. So eventually the thievery or the thieving is brought to light here. Okay. What else can I get out of this? There, he is around this younger person here, which I'm going to go ahead and say is quite possibly JD Vance. It could be in reference to one of his children as well that's involved with an organization, or not just an organization, but a network of people. But I would feel more comfortable saying that that this would be more like a Vance, because he sits on the house of child, so he has power over this person, even though the person, hey Jenny, even though this person sits above him. Okay, so he's currently in a position of control over this person, even though he does have JD Vance on his mind, very closely on his mind. He is afraid here and looking over his shoulder because he's expecting some sort of a sabotage here with the fox. So this is mostly with the fox connecting these two. The fox is different from the snake, that in the sense that you can see the snake in the grass. Okay, it's easy to see. A fox is more covert. Okay, so this would be more like a battle of wits between two people that have shit for brains. Okay. This person here is closely associated to an organization that is highly problematic, that is can be seen as a bunch of traitors and liars. Okay. This is in the house of snake. Okay. There's this person here. This is also a man. This man is closely associated to this organization as well. This person is super fucking wealthy. It sits on the house of bear. Okay. This also tells me, just this line here, that his position of power is right now, and will continue to be over the next 2 months, extremely tenuous. It's shady, and I think he senses that because he's got the fox here and he knows he's in trouble. There's a partnership with these two, and there's this right in the middle of it. Does that make sense? Hey, Beth Cat, I didn't see you in there. Does that make sense, you guys? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm sorry I haven't gone live. I've just been, Jenny, I was telling them that I talked to you Thursday and I was going to go live. I just wasn't feeling well and I slept. Hey, T-Barb, how are you, darling? Haven't seen you in a while because I haven't been on other than Sundays. But I was telling him, Jen, that I wasn't feeling well, so I slept, and then I slept all day yesterday, and then today I've been like on and off sleeping. Happy birthday, Beth Cat. Good to see you, T-Barb. Sending you hugs. That would be Peter Thiel, close to the couch fucker. It sits on the house of bear. Okay. Bear is someone very powerful with a lot of fucking resources. A lot. Okay. There's this other person here who's an entrepreneur. This card sits in the house of mice. This person was involved in thievery, and a lot of thievery, an abundance of thievery. This would be your Elon Musk, because this person is close to this person. He knights here, but he's closer to this guy. Both of them are part of this network sort of situation. This person has traveled abroad. This person has something to do with communications that are vocal. So podcast, radio, Twitter with the little bird, even though it's called X now, everybody still calls it Twitter with the little birds. Okay. So here is the thieving. Okay. Thieving by blocking something. This sits in the house of mountain. Okay. Birds is sitting in the house of crossroads. So thieving by blocking, talking about the upcoming elections, which we see over here in the column for November, and the abundance of thievery that this guy did, and knowing how they did it. This sits in the house of heart. Okay. So there's that. Okay. Wait, I'm trying to read the comments. Okay, so back to this whole conversation. He knows that his power is very, very tenuous. He knows, and he's nervous about it. He's shitting his pants, and he's trying to find a way to wiggle out of this mess that he's in right now. Okay, because he sees this coming, he sees this coming, and he sees this coming. We've already talked about this line, this knighting here, and this knighting here. How can we fix the election so I can retain power? Okay, and not lose the house. But this shows that he loses power and he loses the house. But they're already scheming over here. This is already in play. Okay, there is also with the corners here, the access here. The access is paperwork. It's roles. It's information that is written. If this is in regards to, because it knights here to the crossroads, ballots, taking ballots away or erasing something so that the person is unalived. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we talked about this earlier, death certificates being delivered this way. And we talked about its connection to the person that is terminally ill. Another way to interpret that is because this secret here on how they did it, we talked about this already. I'll go over it for the people that are just tuning in. The thieving comes to light because the sun is here and the storks is here. It knights here to the ship, which is an action card. Okay, it knights here, which makes it tenuous, but eventually, when you follow the gravity, it goes this way. It comes out. Okay. The hack and how they stole it this way. We know that Elon Musk got into everything and gave all of that information to this guy, this person here. And they're building that database. There's the network. The network to deceive, to lie, to be traitors. Okay. Garden in the house of cross. All right. And then here, the secrets on how they did it. Hold on, let me see. June, July. That court case goes into discovery in September, does it not? The one in New York? Because this is studying, learning. With this underneath it, the studying and learning and research is achieved. Can somebody confirm when the discovery for the New York case, and I think it's Rockwell, something like that in New York. September 22nd. Yeah, this is the column for September here. So this is June, where Trump is at right now, July, August, and then September. And here it shows learning, discovery, research, and then the achievement of that. So this right here, if you follow it this way, comes to light, and how they did it. So how the thievery took place. If we look at all of this, we focus in on the what do you call this? On the mice, which is the card of thieves. Okay. Hey, Tris. We see that right up here, scythe, man, fox, target, or something was cut out. Like as a thing, this would be scissors, knives, bullets, something sharp and quick that can cause damage and hurt. Okay. So bullets for this man, fraud. Okay. There is what they desired and what the public desired, because it's in the house of garden. The garden, the country, society as a whole was deceived because it sits in the house of snake. Okay. Stole the thievery happened by blocking something. And then the communications around that, either through phone, through text messages. This right here would be like the bomb threats that happened in more than one state. Here's the states. This is the country. This would be the state. How that there's a pattern and a routine to how it was achieved. And then news of Trump, because it sits on the house of man, that he was smaller. Okay. He sits in the house of child. Success and energy to a woman, because it sits in the house of woman. Woman's in the house of stars, the rising star. And then there's Lily's in its own house. That will be set right. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to kick him out and put Kamala Harris in. I'm saying that the truth will out within the time frame of this tableau on what this guy and this guy and this guy and this whole network did to commit fraud. All of that comes out. It will be righted. The truth, the integrity will come out, will be delivered and righted. But again, that does not mean she comes into power. I'm just saying that this whole situation with the fuckery of the last time, and it happens around, this is showing September. It'll come up right before the elections because this is October. This is November. The scheme that they're working on doesn't appear to work because here, power here sits in the house of Clover. We're also looking at important financial opportunities that he's doing while he's in power and in the government, and also foreign governments, because this sits in the house of ship. Okay. So important access that is being delivered for financial opportunities from foreign governments, and stuff that he's transferring out of government. Okay. In the house of ship. All right. There's punishment and suffering for that here on these first four. So that tells me that during the timeline of this tableau, everything that we're seeing right now is just going to snowball, but it catches up to him. He doesn't get away with this shit for 4 years. I can't do a tableau for 4 years, but according to this, if I'm interpreting it correctly, all the scheming comes to light. What they did before, they're trying to do again, but it doesn't work. Here it says that his power suffers. He's cut here. He's cut here. He's removed here. Does that make sense? Does Elon reveal the cheat? Well, there's Elon. Hold on. Let me follow this chain. No, he does not. The chain is the fish, abundance, prosperity, okay, to the mice, losses, okay. And this also right here, if you follow this line here, losing the majority. Because they're trying to commit to something, run the same playbook, the same bullshit propaganda, do everything that they can, cheat and steal it, but they lose, they don't get what they desire this way. So Elon, okay, an abundance majority gets taken away. There's a block and a delay, an obstacle, and then it goes back to the fish. That's the whole chain. So it goes fish to mice to mountain, back to fish. That's it. Elon does not disclose what he did. Okay. And if we look at it as him keeping the majority, no, he loses it. He loses the majority. And I found it very interesting that those tweets that Elon Musk has been tweeting on, while he deleted all of his tweets. Well, too bad, because the internet has all the receipts, Jen. He came up with some very specific numbers for the Senate, very specific, 51 to 49. And we saw when we did Ted Cruz's tableau and Colin Albright, was that his name? We saw that Ted Cruz cheated, or that he was going to cheat, that there was going to be major fuckery in Texas. And Colin Albright won, but they took it from him. So that's one person right there. All right. So the whole thing is just fucked. Let's see here. What else can I find here? I've been seeing today on Twitter what they're doing out in Los Angeles, which y'all picked the wrong fucking city to mess with. Like, do you all not remember what happened after Rodney King? And now he's Gavin Newsom came out and confirmed that I'm not worried about the line of fate right now. Confirmed that Donald Trump is federalizing the National Guard and deploying them out here to California, to Los Angeles. Pete Hegseth is threatening to send the Marine Corps. I'm like, oh, this is going to get good. This is going to get fucking good. Fucking good. First of all, to deploy the military in your own country against a state, highly fucking illegal, completely out of bounds, a total unlawful order, beyond grounds for impeachment and removal. And they were saying that Camp Pendleton, which is close to where I live, is on high alert to deploy to Los Angeles. Now, if we're looking for military, you look here. Okay. This would be the military with ships. Now, the Marine Corps falls under the Department of the Navy. If they do deploy, they get there and they don't do nothing. They're just there. There's no action afterwards. It's like they just go and sit. The whip is not here. The scythe is not here. Well, the scythe would mean that it would get canceled. But if they do deploy, which this shows military movement here or military ships, they get to where they're going and they just sit there. Okay, they don't do anything, which is still going to outrage a shit ton of people. You don't want to fuck with LA. I guarantee you, it's going to turn into a fucking shit show. It's going to look like a goddamn war zone out here in California. They tried that shit in San Diego. It didn't fly. Now they're going to Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Like, you want to see the people from Compton come rolling out the hood? No. You know, like, this doesn't last. So let me look at this little box again, see what else I can squeeze out of here. So right now we see that he's very, very nervous. He's shitting his pants and he's just going to up the ante right here. Energy increases. He doesn't know when to back down. He's nervous, so his response is to just make it worse. This is energy, success. This is adding to it. Does that make sense? Let me see here. They started shit in Compton. Yeah, they're fucking with, dude, you don't want to fuck with LA. Like us here in San Diego, we're kind of chill. We're chill, you know, compared to LA. You don't want to fuck with LA. Like you don't want to. And people in LA are already pissed. Half the fucking city burnt down, you know. So, and now you're coming after, you're breaking into things. And then the people in LA, I was seeing on Twitter, they locked a bunch of ICE agents in a detention facility or something, or they got trapped in somebody's warehouse, something. They locked them up. They locked ICE up. The protesters did. So I'm like, dude, there's more of us than there are of you. I don't care who you deploy. The military can't do shit. There's more people in Los Angeles than there are in all of the fucking National Guard. You know, I mean, it's just, you fucking with the wrong crew. Yeah, Jenny, I can't remember if it was a warehouse or a detention facility, but they locked him up in there. Yeah, and they ran a person over. ICE ran a person over. And then the dog killer came on TV during one of her hearings and swore under oath that, yeah, some of the fucking ICE agents are pardoned January 6ers. We already knew that. We suspected it. I mentioned it on a Sunday night stream. I said people are speculating and I wouldn't be surprised. And she confirmed it. Yeah, they ran over a protester and then they hit a bicyclist. It's going to get wild out here, y'all. So let me see here. So no, Elon Musk does not spill the beans. However, let me look, because I have his GT and it should still be good. He might be under a cocktail of drugs, but he's not stupid enough to spill some shit like that because he's hiding out for the rest of his life. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, here's Elon. Hold on. Let me take a look at this real quick. This is Elon Musk's chart that we did October 13th of last year. Okay, in this tableau, the lilies was in the house of woman, woman was in the house of lilies, so those two were knighting. The whip was in the house of book, book in the house of whip, so those two were mirroring. Clouds in the house of fish, fish in the house of clouds, so those two were mirroring. So he had 1, 2, 3. He had 3 mirrors in his tableau. A wise woman, or a woman that is very mature and very ethical. Okay. Hidden addictions, and then knowledge of addictions and abuses. Significant, serious problems with his businesses. Clouds and fish, fish and clouds. Okay. Let me see here. Where's the book in his tableau? Let me put it over here so y'all can see. The book is, where's 26? 20. No, he keeps it secret. It's in the house of whip, whip in the house of, he doesn't spill the beans on how he did it. The secrets. So he is right now, his timeline is going this way across up here. By July, the secrets is under review with paperwork. The paperwork here, book and letter. Letter in the house of birds, birds right next to it. So the secrets, those are the results. The gossip around the results, changes that were committed fraudulently. What is this? Storks in the house of fox. Okay. There's the transition of power, ship and bear. Also help and aid from abroad, power abroad. Okay. Where's the dog? Hold on. Right here, right beneath it. An enemy. Mountain in the house of snake. An enemy and a betrayal. Ship in the house of bear. Foreign enemy, Russia. Okay. Key in the house of mice, significant thievery. And then there's the friend that provided aid, allied with them to bring them success this way. By August, so this is between July and August. Between July and August, because this would be the discovery. And over here, let me see, let me put this back because I smashed them. He sits in the column of August. That's where him and Peter Thiel sit. So there's June, July, August. So between July and August, there's the fraud, hearings, gossip, meetings that they're having, talk about the elections, and then the satisfaction of it. If this is ethical and clean, it's followed by the snake. It was not kosher. It was not kosher. This whole thing right here was not kosher. The scheme that they're coming up with now, again, not kosher. how close, how far is he from the key? Where's the key? Where's the key? Key's way over there. Elon has the answers. You would go here. To get him to over here, you have to go like this. So you have to go key to fish and then connect the corners, garden and ring. The information, the access was given here, the betrayal in this network, which we know is Palantir, and right below it, the shady guy that has a lot of power and money. So this way. So that's in August. Hold on. Because this organization is problematic. This network here is problematic, seriously problematic. There's all sorts of... This is a network. This could be a network in the cloud if I'm looking at it like that, okay? Network that has worms, that sits in the house of snake, in the cloud. And then an abundance of transfers here. Are you all picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, so let me see. No, Starlink is over here. Star, Night's here. Star is in the house of, hold on, let me go back to this chart. Stars is in the house of whip. Ring is in the house of storks. There's your Starlink being abused, doing something disruptive that switches or changes something. Because this is in the house of storks. Does that make sense? But it's these two guys. There's a couple of other people involved too, like a team. There's a whole team. This is doubles. This would be a team of people. So I don't know if it's the two kids here, because this is a child, someone younger, working with Musk here, meeting and talking with Musk, and there's the team. So go this way and then this way. In one sense, it's Vance, and then in another context, it could be the kids that were working with him. Child, work, meeting, stealing, meeting, abundance, stealing and abundance. Cloud, problems in the network. Okay. And then this way. If we're looking at the kids that were working in Doge, that were stealing, because this is access and answers. This is sitting in the house of mice. This person stole in abundance. Access, he got into access to government and financial stuff here. See? So he stole in abundance, got access. There's worms, delivered something like in a thumb drive or passwords. Okay, that's the key. Thumb drives, passwords, logins, keys, access to a network, worms, trouble, an abundance of stealing here, and the link on how they're going to switch and change. Okay. But that all of that gets discovered here. There is a possibility that this person goes on a little trip. This person goes on a trip. Vacation. Bye-bye. And then he goes quiet this way. We know that Russia has offered him asylum. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Russia is going, hey, Elon, you need to deport? Because like we've talked about this previously in past GTs. Either way, Russia wins. They install him, they won. They install him and they get found out and everything goes to shit, they won. Because you have permanently sowed doubt in the electoral process. But this person goes quiet. See right here, talking, yapping. And then all of a sudden they're quiet. And then they go somewhere here. And they stay. Hold on. Hold on. You know, I've been seeing all these things on TikTok and stuff where people are questioning this entire breakup. It's a setup, dude. And I'm not saying setup as in political theater. We talked about this in previous tableaus. He was the Trojan horse to get this guy in. If you look at proximity, couch fucker is closer to this person and this person. They don't trust each other because the fox sits here, but he's closer in proximity to these people than him. And he is viewed as someone easier to play. That's your playing and your gamble card. Okay. Publicly, he appears loyal, but there's a betrayal. Child sits in the house of clouds. Clouds is right here. Him and Peter Thiel. Public in the house of snake. Betrayal. And then a public betrayal against this guy and this guy too, because they all fall into this line right here. And this person has all the access to all the data. There's the knowledge, the secrets, the information, and then follow it back down that way. I don't. I have to look at Vance's. Hold on. Because him and he sits on the house of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel sits on the house of Bear, which is over here. In the house of Clover. Clover's right there. People, like I was saying, I lost my train of thought. People were saying that this is all staged, that they're going to make up. No. He wouldn't. come out and say he's in the Epstein files and all this other shit. By proximity of how these two are, they're ready to dispose of this guy. And put this one in. But in the interim, shit's going to escalate this way. For this month here. So for the remainder of June. That scythe sitting so close to him, you in danger, girl. That's something that happens suddenly. It's an accident. It's you don't want that pointing at you right next to you, is all I'm going to say. Elon and Peter Thiel are already ready to dispose of him and put this guy in, the couch fucker. This guy is the one that's in danger. The scythe is pointing to him. Let's see. Let me see. What else can I find in here? The staged unaliving stuff would be right here. This would be a performance. The moon is about theatrics, performance. With the stars right above it, it almost emphasizes performance, performative. Okay. There's the attack where he was a target. Something quick, sharp, and sudden to him. Okay. If we box this in during the elections, okay, or right before the elections, for the house that he was losing, or that he was going to lose, or that he lost. We know he fucking lost. Okay. And then there's the illness and something sudden happening with his health. Now, ears and eyes are over here. So it's not touching this here. Because allegedly, he got shot in the ear and it grew back. Okay? Because cartilage does that like he's fucking SpongeBob or some shit. This is eyes and ears. This is saying performative. There's the elections. There's the media, the circus, the pageantry. This right here is pageantry. Okay. This, and this. It's all pageantry. Okay. And then the younger person that came to visit. That was bringing danger. That was desired. He wanted a performance. And it resulted in the news of someone passing right here. 2 people this way. 2 people passing. 2 accidents, news of death. See that? In that little square when you box that in. So This man views reality through a television performance reality TV show. This had WWE Ed McMahon performative bullshit all over it. Did 2 people die? Yes. Does he give a fuck? No. He killed over 1 million during COVID. People got killed when they were rioting the Capitol. He didn't give a fuck. It totally tracks. It tracks. You know, this here would be a younger gentleman. No older than like mid-20s. Okay. So let me see. This isn't a grand tableau on Elon Musk, so I can't answer those questions about him taking his money. I mean, he wants to. He wants to take, and this person suffers a loss of abundance. He wants to take his money. Stephen Miller and his wife, I don't know. That's it. It could be in here, but I'm not going to bother to look for it. He is in the very center, in the heart of this tableau. It's the scythe in the house of birds, man in the house of child, heart in the house of garden, and then mice in the house of mountain. He is not going to get what he wants. He is not going to be able to achieve what he desires. It is taken away from him, either through removal or from an accident. Because that right there and this whole line right here is sus, is all I'm going to say. This line here intersects with this line here. Okay. We talked about this earlier for the people just tuning in. Suffering, attack, heart, news of a blockage. Certificate of death, health news. Someone news of him because it sits back on him. Okay. Energy, success, and then retirement, and then transitioning and arriving at the fiery pits of fucking hell. Preferably the ninth circle where traitors go, and then they get buried in the freaking ocean of frozen water with their head sticking out, and then, you know, Dante can go over there and kick the shit out of his face. So there's that. But yeah, that's not good. Suffering, attack, heart, news, blockage. Certificate of death, health delivered successfully. Retirement, transitioning, and arriving. The scythe in the house of birds, that could be cut off from communications. I'm not saying he's going to kick the bucket. I don't want that motherfucker martyred. But at this point, I'll take what I can fucking get. You know, I'm not Mother Teresa. I ain't going to sugarcoat that shit for anybody. If he's got to be taken out in a fucking stretcher with no heartbeat, back to the mud, so be it. I've had enough. Scythe in the house of birds, cutting off communications. Communications that are targeting specific people. Meetings about targeting him, because this is a target on him. It points to him. He's cut off. See? Scythe to heart. Something sudden. Danger to the heart. Okay. And then him being a thief, but he loses. He doesn't get what he desires. He's blocked from it. And he's right at the center of the tableau. And this right here, we talked about it, and I'll say it again. Important news of an ill friend, the arrival of results. Important access that is being delivered, or news of access. Okay. To a friend or an ally. It could also be the loss and ending of trust. This is trust. It is loyalty. Okay. So that's another way to interpret this. He's out sometime within this time frame. He's and it's hard to tell because he's sitting right in the middle of it. He's right in the middle of the whole entire storm. It could be this right here, could be the 25th Amendment, which would be around October. But there's like something lucky. His luck runs out. See, luck gets cut off. This is also in regards to surgeries. Okay. So his luck runs out. His fame ends, dies this way. Him suffering and then talking or communicating abroad, or talking and communicating about a transition, a transfer. But all this comes out. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me follow his. Um, 28. Okay, so I just followed his line around, his chain. No. His chain is man to child, clouds, bear, clover, tree, letter, ring, storks, anchor, moon, tower, ship, sun, woman, stars, whip, and then rider. So, and then back to, hold on, wait, I missed something. Hold on, let me do this again because I missed something. Hold on 1 second. 32, 19, 3, 31, 29, 16, 11, 33, 1, 28. Okay. All right. Man, child, clouds, bear, clover, tree, letter, storks, or letter, ring, storks, anchor, moon, tower, ship, sun, woman, stars, whip, key, and then rider. Okay, so let me see if I can follow that chain. So, man, I'm not going to interpret this as JD Vance right now. Man, new shitstorm, new problems. His power, his force, his control. An opportunity for health results that are committed or promised. 25th, Article 25, Article 25, right here. This is in the house of ring. Ring is right before it because of health. To change something. So articles for his health, the 25th Amendment, I would assume. Change achieves a successful government transfer. Change achieves what the fuck is this line? Hold on, I'm staring at his chain. Man-child clouds. So he has new problems, new issues, new chaos. And it's just at the beginning, at the early stages. Man-child clouds. Okay, so I'm not going to look at child and clouds as Elon as couch fucker and the techno Nazi. Okay, I'm going to look at this as man at the early stages or at the beginning of a shitstorm. Okay. Also, June, July, August. Right here in August, there are certain states that are going to see an abundance of bad storms and water. Right here, this would be your states. This is weather, bad storms, an abundance of bad weather. Like water levels, sea flooding right here around August. So I couldn't tell you where. I mean, I probably could. Maybe. And also a new storm. Man, new storm. Okay. And we're in hurricane season, aren't we? Through November, correct? Possibly, if I'm guessing, it's somewhere around a Gulf area, around the Gulf, because this would be bays and ports. This is the ocean. So it's almost like it's in the Gulf area. This would be somewhere where there's a fleur-de-lis. So maybe like New Orleans or that region. Let me see. Hold on. And he cut fucking FEMA money too. And God knows where the hell that fucking money went to. Yeah, the Gulf of America. There you go, Jen. It'll be around the Gulf of America. Because this would be somewhere where there's a fleur-de-lis. This is like in a Gulf. Right here. Gulf, ports, bays. Powerful too, because it's in the House of Bear. Powerful storms. This right here, because this is an island. This is more like, this right here is more like a peninsula. So the Gulf, a peninsula, somewhere where there's a fleur-de-lis. At nights here, somewhere where they make business with energy. This is in-house mice. A lot of losses. A lot of losses. This is in the House of Bear. Powerful storms. 720. Snake in the garden. Garden and the snake. Garden and the snake. Garden and the snake. Garden and the... Everglades, but that's Florida. Swampy marsh areas. So that's like Louisiana, New Orleans. Oil rigs there too. Yeah, because this is somewhere where there's a fleur-de-lis. This would be like in a Gulf or in a bay. If you follow it this way, this is where I'm stuck. This is where I'm stuck. But it's like that whole region. But it's powerful, strong, very strong, bad weather, August. Anyways, so that's one way to interpret that. Man-child clouds, new storms, new bad weather that is very, 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 that are very, very, very powerful. The resources and health aid that it's not there. Also, he's at the early stages of a lot of trouble in regards to his power. That brings an opportunity for something in his health to be this right here. 25, ring is the number 25. The resolution for his health is in this document, is in this letter, because it goes clover, opportunity, health, results, mail, certificates, tests, and the resolution is 25. Okay, so there's a possibility there too of an opportunity to get him out via the 25th Amendment. There's a change because it goes ring, storks, anchor. Ring, storks, anchor. Ring, storks, anchor. Change is achieved. Change achieved through the 25th because of health. And then it goes moon, tower, and ship. Moon, tower, 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 ship. There's a transition or a transfer in the government. Moon, success, creativity, honors, reputation. Tower, the government. Ship, transition. And then it goes sun, woman, stars. That doesn't make sense. Sun is success, it's energy, triumph, big win. Woman, and then stars would be your new direction, hope, guidance. And then there's an argument that is significantly being delivered, or a very important argument that's being delivered. An important argument. Hey, Phyllis. Oh, are you just getting in? Sorry, you're going to have to go back and rewind an hour and a half when this is over. This is on a Tupperware spaghetti face. That doesn't make sense, though, y'all. Change is achieved in the government because of a health issue, but then it has success. Change is achieved in the government, and then there's a transition or a transfer, and then success, a woman, new direction, guidance, and then an argument that is important that is being delivered. So we got a couple of things out of that. But I keep saying what I think is going to happen is he's going to get found out. But he's going to get found out, but it's almost like if I'm reading that chain correctly, he gets removed first due to a health issue, and then we find out that what they did. He's already out by then. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I came on late too, Phyllis. I came on like at 9 something over here. Yes, the woman could be Kamala. So what I think, if I'm reading this chain right here correctly, this one, man, child, clouds, bear, clover, tree, letter, ring, storks, anchor, moon, tower, ship, sun, woman, stars, whip, key, writer, and then back to man. If I'm reading that correctly, he's at the very early stages of the shitstorm. Something happens with his health. That's how the change in government is achieved. And then you find out what they did. Let's see here. Wait, let me follow her around. So she goes 29 to 16 to 11 to 33 to 1 to 28. Her line isn't long at all. Her chain, woman to stars to whip, key, writer, and then him. So a woman and like I said, for those of you that are just tuning in, the National Guard and Pete Hegseth is talking about the Marines. If they go, they just sit. I don't see, this would be military right here. They just sit. I don't see fighting. I don't see, I mean, but he's only going to amp it up because he's nervous right now. Let me see. A woman that was successful is delivering a very important argument or a very important fight. Woman, stars, whip, writer, whip, key, writer, man. Oh, wait a minute. No. It doesn't end there. What the hell? 28. And then back to her. Yeah, it's almost like he gets ousted first. And then you find out about the fuckery. The parades in June this month. I see a celebration of birth here. I don't see protest around the celebration. They're blocked somehow. There's a celebration. This is a pregnancy and a birth. Goes right up his line. Okay. These are visitors, or he is going. The man is visiting. Okay. There's the celebration. There's the military. There's the birth. But there's people that are blocked here. If this is fighting and protesting, it's blocked here. People are still going to get out and protest, but I don't see fights or anything at the bullshit fuckery that he's doing. So and then right here, this line right here, access answers something of importance. There's the elections that were hacked. This sits in the House of Scythe. There's the success and the media circus, news of him and how stuff changed. And it was a lie. What else? Jenny, got questions, Jen? Is that where you're at, Phyllis? Oh, I know, Lynn. I know. A fucking draft dodging insurrectionist that has called our active duty military and our fallen veterans suckers and losers. I just, you know what? Mm-mm. I don't get recalls, Jen. I don't get recalls. Let me see. Okay, so I'm looking at the book. Okay, the book is the project that they were working on to steal stuff. The scheme, okay, because this would be the scheme, and at night's here, the secret scheme. Okay, I can't follow the chain for the writer or for the fox because he's sitting in his own house. Okay, so there's the secret scheme, the manipulation, the fraud, the fuckery that they committed. This fuckery here with that. Okay, so it goes book to heart, to garden, to snake, to cross, house, dog, coffin, and then back to book. So let me see. So one way to read that is that secret that he had, that project that they were working on, not Project 2025, I'm talking about the scheme to steal stuff, is what he desired, and states are suffering. The public is betrayed. The public was betrayed and lied to. States are suffering. And there is an ally but not just an ally. He loses allies and help. Okay, he didn't have it, and he loses it. Okay, so book in the house of heart, a secret passion, a secret desire that he had, the public betrayed, duped, lied to. Okay, states suffer, and no support, no allies. Loses support, loses allies. Loses support and allies in states. In the election, he didn't have it. That comes out. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't see it being overturned. If this is the results, let me follow the letter around 27, 25, 17, 35, 32, 19, 3, 31, 29, 16, 11, 33, 1, 28, 13, 6, 15, 2, 5, 27. It doesn't get. Hold on. Doesn't, no, Jen, no. Because these are the results. Okay. Results that were promised, or the results that were committed. Okay. The people that committed to what they put on the ballot. Okay. Change achieved successfully. The government or an institution, bureaucracy, and then it says transfers success, and then the woman who is the rising star who delivers an important argument or has the evidence, has the answers, and then he gets in a whole new world of shit because of the power that he achieved. But I don't see it getting overturned. It shows that the truth of him doing what he did comes out, but she doesn't get into power, is what I'm saying. Is what the bear goes nowhere near her in her line or in this line, this chain. So no, it doesn't get overturned. If I'm interpreting this correctly, and I have it on my notes, the chains and stuff. So I mean, and what mechanism is there anyways? The mechanisms would still be the same. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I would assume when this shit hits the fan and then you find out, oh, you're not supposed to be there because you cheated. Look, you cheated. You fucking cheated, you cheating cheater fuck. Okay. You would still have to impeach and convict him and the entire administration because he can't stay in there when he was on the ticket with this guy. So you're going to take the one fraudulent person out and you're going to leave the other fraudulent person in. You would have to impeach the entire fucking administration. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't even see. Because this right here is November. So I see the elections coming up in November. The elections are November this year, correct? I know, T-Barb. I know. And leave it to this fucker. Oh, so the elections are next year? because this shows loss of power by November. And possibly 2 executives here. Back to the mud. That's 2 ways to interpret that. Yeah, it has to be the 25th or going back to the mud. But this shows him, if I'm interpreting this correctly, this shows him getting out before we even get to the midterms. It's like November of this right here. Power, choices, and decisions. There's a choice or a decision that needs to be made in the House, and he loses power here. He's cut off here. He's cut off here. He's cut off here. And then when you look at it this way, his power right now is temporary. It's fleeting. This is an action card. It doesn't stick. And here, removal and self-enrichment. I mean, there's just all this sits in the house of Clover. Clover's right over him. We know, and not just loss of power, but all the stuff that he's cut out of the government finances. And then this could also be in reference to, if that bill passes the way that it is, all the fucking deaths that are going to occur, because there's certificate of death, health news. Okay. This could also be in reference to other bills that they might be trying to get through. They just die. They try to make deals. And then when it goes to get, just dies. Shit dies here. Because this person here, which we have established that this would be Biden, because this person is ill. And he's very close to this woman by proximity. She's not way over here on the tableau. This right here tells me they're very close in proximity. Okay. There's something important that he did that achieves results. And also the arrival of, all this shit. But that's coming for him, is all I'm saying. There's money that was cut off. Widespread, huge loads of money. I'm not talking 1, 2, 3 million. I'm talking like bazillions of dollars. This is money you used to go shopping. This is money you used to invest. Does that make sense? Little bits of money, huge buttloads, resources, assets, huge, that were cut from several departments here. Government, several contracts. And then that was stolen here. Yeah, but he's just at the early stages of the shit hitting the fan for him. And like I said, storms, really bad weather. Shit's going to get really, really bad for him, and he's going to continue to lose even more allies. By because August, the bad storms are right here. Very bad weather in August. If this is in reference to his cabinet, a lot of people in his cabinet also go bye-byes. These would be executives in certain departments. So the bosses in certain departments. Look down this way. Endings and losses here. Executives are cut off here. People in the administration are cut off here. They move away here. This is where this night's here. So these would be like chiefs of staff and all those sorts of people. The people in the cabinet, the high ups, cut off. People inside the cabinet, cut off. At night's this way. They leave. They move away. They run for the door. Yeah, run, yeah, Jen, run to the hills. And then that's the only other important people. And this goes back to Ryder. Important people run away. Dude, all I'm going to say, if he has to go back to the mud, make that shit slow and fucking painful. Make it slow and painful. Because if that's the only justice I'm going to get, make it fucking count. I'm not talking a quick stroke. He's out there talking on camera, has a stroke, shits his pants and dies. No. Make it slow and fucking painful. Yeah, bye-bye liquor cabinet. Jen, anything else? There's the government. Shutdown is way over here. I see bills that die and certificates of death. I don't see government shutdown here. Default of US debt. Let me see. Credit is cut here. If this is your credit, it's cut here. So credit is cut. Let me see. Hold on. He's calling a bunch of people overseas trying to kiss ass because he knows he's losing this way. Oops. He's making a lot of phone calls overseas. Probably still trying to call Xing, whatever that guy in China, his name is, But see, he's making phone calls to overseas right there. And they're just leaving him on hold. Yeah, it's like he keeps getting suffering man calling overseas. Look to the right. That call isn't answered. Waiting, 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 waiting for the phone calls he made overseas. He's just left on hold. Nobody calls him back. Otherwise, it would be birds and man. It would be shit birds man. It's not. It's going this way. He's the one reaching out. They're not talking to him. I don't see the default on US debt, Jenny. I see our credit getting cut. If this is your credit, it gets cut here. So whether that's the credit score or whatever, but it gets cut. I don't see bank runs. But I don't see him there for much longer either, Jen. I do not, because this right here, I don't see him in there much longer. And it's hard to tell exactly when, because he's right in the center. Then you have July, which is couch fucker scheming and meeting with other people. And he's doing dishonorably and they're planning a betrayal. Okay. And it could also be in reference to the couch fucker working on something, given speeches or talking to someone, perhaps some sort of an ambassador. Some sort of an ambassador or something for overseas, but they're planning a betrayal because it ends with the snake down that line. August, bad storms, bad weather, lots of flooding, lots of water, money, markets, and shit going on with businesses abroad. So that could be in regards to the tariffs as well, not looking good. September, you got these two people that are very close. One is ill, one is a rising star. Taco chicken right there. Boom. Because that's a bird. So that would be a chicken. These two people knowing something was achieved or knowing that they achieved something could also be in reference to something that is being studied about these two. And arriving at the conclusion here. October, we could be hearing news of some sort of a deal that he made that was even more bribery here. Important news, bribery, there's your deal. There's paperwork here, results. And then November, back to that line where I was talking about the possibility of two people going back to the mud or him losing power. Also, people in his cabinet going bye-byes. Oh, thanks, Rhonda. Guitar playing would be here, these two. But this is something important, some sort of a deal that he made that's a bribery. If the day ends with the Y, he's committing all sorts of crimes and bribery and extortion and embezzlement and name every fucking crime you can think of. If the day of the week ends in a Y, he's doing it. But there's news of another self-dealing thing that he did here. Could be another bill that they're trying to get through again. That is rewarding, that is gifting people with a lot of resources and power, even more money and power, but it dies. So it's like they keep trying to pass bills to gift to people that are in positions of power, that are the oligarchs in government here and financial institutions here. There's the bill, but it dies. Okay. But his abuses will be stopped. And then there's a change that is a betrayal, and a change that brings him even more trouble and more problems. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, it's significant abuses that he's committing that's just even making himself even more trouble. Changes in the Supreme Court? No. Nope. Supreme Court is up there. Changes are way down here. Not in the same line. Nowhere near each other. Nope. Well, he just started a fight with the Federalist Society, too. He just started a fight with the Federalist Society. I saw a video on that on YouTube today, but I didn't click on it. I just saw the headline. Oh, hey, Justice. Oh, you're in New Zealand? Well, hi. Is New Zealand where they call people Kiwis? Is that you guys? Thanks, Colleen. You know, you cannot convince me that, yeah, you're the Kiwis. Well, hello there. It's Kiwi is not like a bad insulting term, is it? I mean, I don't know. I'm over here. I'm American and Cuban, and I've never been to New Zealand, so I wouldn't know. Oh, the revenge tour. Yeah, you can't convince me that he's just doing all this stuff to all these states because he knows by how much he lost. So he's just punishing all of us. All of us. We're all getting punished because he knows how much he lost. By how much and how much they had to cheat. He's also going to see a lot of problems because he keeps trying to grow power that he doesn't have. Man, child, clouds, bear, clover, and tree. taking the opportunity to grow power that he does not have. Um, um, there's also in this column here for the person that was asking when will he be out. I'm leaning towards November simply because of this column right here. This is the column for November. And then all this shit that has yet to happen. He doesn't have allies. If this is your friends and allies, it's in the House of Coffin. Okay. And this here would be November saying, and power, choices, property, closure. So it's almost like by November, he's not there, if I'm interpreting this correctly. Okay. Another way to interpret this is because here's August when we were talking about all the bad weather and the bad storms. September, October, November, there's going to be several states that are significantly economically impacted and they don't have resources. The money's not there. Leave it to the states, huh? Leave it to the states. It's not there. And you could also see a couple of states here. If this is resources, this is more than one. Doubles and multiples. Okay. States here that just aren't going to pay. They're not going to give federal money. And then a couple of states as well, several states that don't have resources. They're bankrupt. They're broke. Does that make sense? And those local governments are financially struggling. If this is their local government here, those in power, they're struggling. So if this is the government, look what they've done. They've taken an axe to it, so they've cut it here and they've dismantled it here. They've taken away, they've broken it. So now there's no money. So when this happens, when this column here with the bad weather happens, and you don't have a federal response because you took a fucking sledgehammer to it, and God knows what the fuck you did with the money and the resources. Good luck to all those red states that just hate socialism, who are going to be underwater with no power, or you know, I don't know what to tell you. He's gonna lose friends, because here it says, if this is him, those are friends. You don't have none. People don't trust him. Look at that. They don't trust you. Yeah, the states wanted independence. Here you go. Good luck with that. Texas and Alabama and Louisiana and Mississippi and all these red states that just hate socialism. Nebraska, that's about to go fucking bankrupt. All of them. All of them. And I hate to say that, because I know that we know that he stole the election. So we know that people that didn't vote for this are going to suffer along with everybody else. But for those that did, I hope this is the wake-up call that you needed. And then you can turn around and vote Republican again next time, because they will. They will. Even when that lady tells them to their face, yeah, well, we're all going to die. You know, like, they just don't give a fuck. So, but I think this guy's going to go on a little boat and go bye-byes. No, I don't see arrests. T-Barb. Mm-mm. And he's also manipulating chaos here. Chaos agent. Man manipulating chaos. And just fucking batshit crazy. This right here. If you look at this line of 5, just read it across. If this is success, okay, success and guidance and hope and going in a new direction, it's cut off. Dangerous man, manipulative, big problems and chaos. Opportunistic man, that's a thief. See? And he's right at the center of the tableau. Meaning, by this position here, since he's at the heart of the tableau, everybody is going to see this. It's like a big, huge spotlight on this. He's dangerous and he's a thief. He's corrupt. This is not what you wanted. If this is desire, it's being dwindled, taken away. So I do not see, not in this tableau, not in this tableau. This is just me giving my opinion. California, I can't read that. I'm sitting too far from the computer. Spicy Barbara, I think that's her name. I'm not sure. No. JD Vance will not be successful, because once this guy is out, he does not have the control nor the charisma to take over the cult that he has. He doesn't, this man, Tupperware Spaghetti Face, does not have a cult of ideology. He has a cult of personality. JD Vance does not have that. He's as charismatic as a shitty diaper. Okay? He's not, he might get the help of Republicans in the House, they might be more willing to work with him, but he's not going to be as effective in the chaos as Trump is, because he doesn't have the base. Yes, Jen, because this would be young girls. Even though sex is not here, sex is down here in the line of fate. And it is sitting in the House of Writer. So yeah, it could also be the Epstein files, the young relationships. Important, significant, beauty, pleasure, relationships, and then files of relationships. But that's still this right here, the full disclosure of it. I think parts will be redacted because this sits next to it. And, I've been seeing all these reports that all these maggots are all over Reddit finally getting a clue. Why is he hiding the Epstein files? Like all this stuff that we've been screaming from. I mean, it's like it took you guys this long to figure it out, but okay. Welcome to reality, I guess. So, yep. Well, that's all I got, y'all. I have it in my notes. I have the Pam Bondi and the other person that I did. I forget who it was. That I'll try. I'm not promising anything. Like I said, I haven't been feeling well. I'll try to. Not promising, though. I don't mean to sound flaky, but I flaked on Jen the other day. I was like, I'll go on if I feel good. And then I fell asleep. So forgive me for that, Jenny, because we talked on the phone. You know what was up. So. So tomorrow will be on Johnny's channel. I posted on my community page for questions. If you guys have stuff to throw in there, go to my community page and post it. In the questions. Oh, you fell asleep too? Yeah, I felt like I got hit by a goddamn bus, Jen. Well, I told you on the phone, I was like, I feel like I'm dying. So, yep. So I have it in my notes. You guys know that I keep these. I got a whole notebook full of them. Yeah. So peace out, y'all. Have a good one. See you next time. See you tomorrow, as a matter of fact, over at Johnny's. Bye-bye.